going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Singing the Tea. I'm your host, Dustin, singer-actor Lewis. And you already know, sometimes I sing, sometimes I give you all of the reality TV tea, but it's always going to be what you want, and it's always going to be what you need. And baby, I'm coming back to you with another Real Housewives of Atlanta recap, y'all. So this is the season finale. So season 16, episode 17, we finally have the season finale of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I will tell you, I enjoyed this episode, but this episode was also extremely long. And I think that there were some parts of this episode that could have been cut out, in my opinion. And guess what? I'm going to cut some of them out in my recap. But with that being said, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. If you are new here, definitely hit that subscribe button. Share with a family member, share with a friend, share with the person next to you at the cubicle so we can grow this community. And I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. But let's get into the reason why you're here, right? So, baby, this intro, this little recap was very, very long for this episode. That was another thing that they could have cut out. But the episode essentially opens with Porsha and Lauren pulling up to Phaedra's house. And, you know, they're talking about, you know, the Porsha and Lauren losing their cousin, Lundy. And it's really, really sad to see them going through this. You know, I hate that they're going through this. You know, they're going to, you know, she said she's the first lady of Christ or whatever to Phaedra's house. And I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all this. I ain't trying to make light of the situation. Phaedra couldn't do my body. I don't know. You know what? It's funny. Phaedra can't do my body, but Phaedra can do my body. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Phaedra going to have me right, but Phaedra might have me too right. She going to have the doll right. But she might have a darling too much, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm trying to get into heaven without a BBL. You know what I'm saying? Just give me my real natural heavenly wings. Listen, a 10-piece lemon pepper, extra crisp, extra wet. That's the type of wings I want to get into heaven with. I don't want to get into heaven with the silicone wings. Absolutely not. So that's all I'm saying. But no, Phaedra looks like she does a phenomenal job with what she does. And some of the things that she was suggesting as far as like the butterfly release, I think that was beautiful. So for sure, I think Phaedra is phenomenal at what she does. And y'all, I forgot to turn my air on. So it's going to be hot in here. Doggone it. And I don't feel like getting up, and I'm on a roll. So we're going to keep on going. If y'all see me sweat, we're going to keep on pushing through. But the skin is looking good though. Got the little glow. Now, after the scene, you know, with everybody at Phaedra's house, we switch over to Angela heading to counseling. She's with her therapist, and this is somebody that her and Charles both see, but she really feels like it's time for her to go and see this therapist because of a lot of the things that she's been going through with the ladies, a lot of the stuff that she's been going through with Charles, and, you know, the homes. And honestly, y'all, these homes that Angela have, they are not selling, and it's putting a strain on their relationship. I can 100% get that because she's needing more money. He's having to shell out more money, and it's not benefiting anyone. I think that Angela bit off more than what she could chew with 5 homes instead of just getting maybe 1 or 2 and renovating from there. Having that many homes and having to renovate all of them, especially by them all being kind of like different levels and styles of home, I know that can be extremely expensive. So I think she just bit off more than she can chew when it comes to the homes, and unfortunately they're gonna have to let some of them go. And she's willing to do that, you know, to make sure her marriage is good, which is very, very smart. You know, prioritize things. Do what's important to you will be for you. So making sure that she's doing what's important to her, and that's great. So yeah, she talks about the event, you know, the situation of the guy Marcus coming up to her at Kelly's event, and you know, she was really hurt by that. And I can understand her being hurt, but also too, I don't think that anybody did it intentionally. And we're going to talk about that when we get more towards the end of this recap. But I think that some of her, I don't want to say it's misplaced. I don't know. It's really unclear right now. So I don't know if she should have those feelings, but she should have those feelings, if you know what I mean. So after that scene, you know, we see the ladies heading over to Shamia's event. Now, Porsha is not there because she's still dealing with things with her cousin. We totally get that, girl. Take all the time you need. Your family is in bereavement. Take all the time you need, baby. So she's not there, you know. Cynthia is there. You know, she has to leave a little early though because she has to fly out. But all of the ladies get there, and it looks like a great event. Now, Shamia, I will say this: your showcase looked lovely, but it did look like there were a lot of empty seats there. Now, I don't know if we couldn't pack it out. I don't know what was going on with your showcase, but you look stunning. I think that the showcase itself, like with the Rose piano, oh, that was gorgeous. You look great. Drew was shady though. Because Shamia, some of the vocals was a little shaky, and it's okay. It happens to us. You know, I'm a vocal person myself. You know, I'm a singer, and sometimes it be off, y'all. Sometimes it really does, and I get it, Shamia. Especially when you first starting off. Like, I'm gonna be real. I recorded the whole song, and the day I did it, I was like, "Oh, that sounds good." I went back and listened to it the next day, and I was like, "Ain't no way I'm gonna upload this." So that's why y'all ain't got it. But I get where she's coming from, though. You know, she did a good job. She was nervous. She shook off the nerves, and then she killed it. So she did a great job. So, and I would love to see Shamia honestly perform. I think she just seems like good energy. So I would love to see Shamia in any capacities, to be honest. Now, when the ladies go backstage, right, Angela is filling them in on her gala that she's going to have. And the gala seems really, really cool. You know, her and Charles put together this gala. And what they do is they like to feed, you know, the homeless or children in need. Beautiful, beautiful thing. They're trying to feed over 100K kids this year. Love that. Like, that's a big deal. And I hope that they hit their goal or close to it. I hope that they were able to achieve that because that's big. Now, as Kelly is talking to Angela, and she's like, "Oh, Angela, you know, let us know what we need to do. If we can post it on our social media platforms, let me know what it is." And then Drew was like, "Oh, how many followers do you have?" Which, now that I'm talking to y'all, that was such an odd question to ask her. Like, I get it, but it just was weird. Like, it seems like Drew was setting that up for it to be a fight now that I'm talking it through, because it was like, why would... It just was odd. It was an odd question for Drew to ask, in my opinion. But when she did ask, you know, Kelly said, you know, "Oh, I have about 150K. And Britt was like, oh, that's a lot more than when we were hanging out. She bought 80K of them. Now, Britt, you got it started. Britt, you got it started. That lady was minding her business. She paid you dust. You paid her dust. Y'all wasn't saying nothing. You did not have to get it started with that lady. Leave that lady be. Now, Britt, you got it started. Now, if the girl come for the juggler, don't be mad. Do not be mad. And she threw some shade at you a little bit. You know, some of us actually do know how to support a benefit. She got you, Britt, with the shade. She got you, and it's okay. It's okay. That's all right. But Britt, stop poking that girl. Leave that girl alone, because that lady ain't do nothing to you. So, you know, we just essentially, we move on, and then Shamia comes in the room, and everybody's supporting her, giving her flowers, and we're going to fast forward, right? Everybody leaving. Shamia was like, "Oh, Britt, you know, can I talk to you really quick?" And child, it go left again. So apparently Cynthia told Shamia what Britt had said to her, and what Britt had said to Cynthia and Porsha about Shamia showing Britt and Kelly text messages from Porsha. Now, I'm going to say this. I think it happened. And I don't think that Shamia was doing it in like a negative way. I think she was just like, "Man, see, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about." She just gets on my nerves sometimes. I think she was just venting to her friends, like had a few drinks. And she's like, "Man, look at this right here. She always got something going on. Man, she worked my nerves." I think it was one of those situations. And my thing is, Britt, your issue is with Kelly. Your issue is not with Shamia. Well, kind of. Your bigger issue is with Kelly. It ain't really with Shamia. So I think that you bringing that up was unnecessary. It wasn't called for. And you just trying to cause chaos and calamity. That's really what you're trying to do, girl. That's all you trying to do. But I'm going to say this. When they got to talking, and, you know, Shamia was throwing some stuff at her, and then Britt had said, "But wait, you know, you said that you was so concerned about your child, but then when you flew into Miami and you just hung out in Miami with Kelly and was taking shots and stuff." I'm going to be real. Shamia a real classy, pulled up type of woman, but you should have went all upside her head, baby, for that. It don't matter. your child was in good hands. She was with her father. She was with your mother. She was in good hands. If you needed to take you an additional break and stay in Miami an extra day or two, you do that. That's your business. Now, I will say you ain't have to be on this camera crying and doing all that because people were side-eyeing you. Now, I respect you, Shamia, because you my girl. But the people were saying that they had an issue with you staying in Ghana or whatever y'all was at when you know your daughter was that sick. Nah, that's just what the people said. Shamia, I'm cool. Me and you good, girl. I would probably got on the plane and left. But anyway, you know your child better than I do. Long story short, Britt, you shouldn't have brought up that lady child. You shouldn't have brought up the situation because it had nothing to do with anything. And then Shamia started calling the girl a pee popper. Y'all know what I mean. She be doing the medications. She's called her that. And I'm going to say this, though. Britt kind of ate Shamia up a little bit. She did. And it bothers me that she did. Britt kind of ate her up a little bit. And it was just like Britt's tone. It was just like, it was that passive aggressive, like, but you did do this. Shamia, but you did show me these messages. I mean, it was that tone, which irks my nerves. But for that, it was good. It was good. And Shamia not a reader like that. That's why I just knew Shamia was going to hit her with her pocketbook or something. She a girl from the South. Girls from the South have pocketbooks. The women who know what a good pocketbook is, when you have a pocketbook, baby, you don't sit it on the floor. They need to get you a chair. They need to have something, a hook that you can hang it on. Pocketbook, baby. You get you a pocketbook, baby. Don't nothing lead a pocketbook. Get you one of them. But I'm going to be real. Britt, you was wrong, but you kind of ate that little situation down, girl. You kind of ate that. I'm just saying. Now, Britt, what you did not eat, right, because Shamia had to usher you out about her event. What you didn't eat, Britt, was this fake scene between you and your husband going to look at private jets. Baby, you can't afford those. You can only afford a shopping spree at Walmart, and not a big shopping spree, a couple of $1,000s. You can't afford no private jet. Britt, where you even going? Where are you even going to have a private jet? You look like you don't go nowhere. Like, you look like vacation for you is like, and don't get me wrong, this is no shade to these areas at all, because I actually like to go to these places. But vacation for you to have a private jet, like, I just like you staying in the States. You not that girl like that, Britt. And you keep doing these scenes of y'all looking at stuff. We ain't seen you buy the private jet. We ain't seen you buy the car that you looked at. We ain't seen you purchase nothing. We seen you have an event though, and then you was mad because people put too many plates out. We seen you have an event and not be able to give everybody in the event some of your shapewear. So we know you good for stuff like that. We seen you pull up to Shamia's house with a box of tissue and some wipes. But that's all we know you for, girl. You are not fab like that. And it's okay. It's okay. A lot of the girls didn't start off fab like that and they worked their way up. You missed your opportunity, girl. You really, really did. So we see Kelly cooking breakfast for her girls, and one of her friends shows up, and they start having a conversation about her still going through her divorce, and this is kind of pushing everything in her life back. She doesn't want to open the restaurant and still be married because it becomes marital property or marital assets at that point. Smart girl, I understand it. Don't do it. That's essentially all we got from that conversation. Now, the next conversation we have, we see Ralph call Drew and ask him if he can come upstairs so they can have a conversation. I love to see this. I love to see that they are being respectful and mindful of each other in this space and in this conversation, so that's good to see. Looks like we are on the right path when it comes to them. And I just hope that they remember at the end of the day, there was some love there. Y'all's love created these beautiful children, and I hope that y'all can find a place or get to a place where y'all can just coexist and just be good. So I just hope that that can happen for y'all. Now, we see Phaedra going on a date with, she called him Shay, I guess, his name is Shek. She went on a date with him. Now, Phaedra is saying, she doesn't want to get married again. I kind of get that. I can understand her, especially going through what she went through with Apollo. I can understand this lady not wanting to get married anymore. 100% can understand it and get it. What was funny to me about this date, because I think that they're cute, it's like they had kissed, and then it's like he had her highlighter like all in here. Yeah, I don't know if that was thunder or my neighbor done fell through the ceiling. Child, it ain't my business. I'm gonna continue to give y'all what y'all need. Child. Anyway, but it was just funny because he had all her highlight and all her bronzer on her, and that was just the funniest thing. So that was good. That was really funny. Let me see what we had. All right, we talked about Brit. Brit, her family, and her husband's family had dinner. They sat down for the first time. Yay, I don't care, to be honest. I'm glad they off the show. Now, we see the ladies, and we see everybody getting ready for the Oakley's event. This event looked like it was a good time. Now, let's talk about how everybody was dressed, baby. For the most part, everybody looked really good. I really like Phaedra's dress. It was black, it was simple, but it was still sexy. Porsha, baby, no notes, Porsha. No notes. I feel like I don't ever have notes for Porsha when it comes to like events like this. Porsha always gonna put it on. Porsha looks good. I think Kelly looked good. I think Britt looked okay. She looked good. Shamia, yeah, I don't know what is going on. But something going on up there, you hear me? And I don't know what these people got going on, and they messing my flow up. Because I feel like something gonna come running about my house. Okay? And I need these people to get it together. Because they scaring me. Okay? This is a Christian household. Okay? Back to it. Anyway, back to Shamia. Shamia can't dress. Shamia has nice pieces. Shamia looks good more times than not. But overall, Shamia just can't. It's like it's always something off with the way that she dresses. And it's so weird because it's not like that. I say always, but I'm being hyperbolic. But it's not. Sometimes she looks fine. It's like Shamia either looks fine or it's like, girl, what you got on? It's so weird when it comes to Shamia because you got the money. I think that she could really benefit. And maybe she does have a stylist. Some of the pieces that she puts on, I don't know if I would put it all together. It's like, you know how they say before you walk up the house, take one thing off? I need her to start doing that. Start taking at least one thing off, and then maybe we can go from there to see what we looking like. But yeah. This event, it was really, really nice though, overall. I really liked it. So apparently though, before we dive too deep into the event, we see Angela calling Drew trying to figure out where Drew was at because Drew and Angela had a meeting with the dude Marcus, who allegedly is claiming that Charles was cheating on Angela with somebody. Now, they are saying that this is a lie, allegedly, all of that good stuff. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I do think that it's really not cool of him to do this whole situation, and it makes him look bad, especially if he's a business owner. It's not a good look for him, but apparently he's going to show up to this event, which I think is foolish. Something that I did think was nice about this event is seeing Angela honor Porsha, because I know that they had some issues in their relationship, right? But it's good to see that they were able to work through it. It's good to see her honor her. And, Portia's family has the Hosea Helps, which is her grandfather's organization. So that's really nice. But to see her honor Portia, honor her cousin, and to be able to do that was a beautiful thing. So, Angela, kudos to you for doing that, you and your husband. That was beautiful. And, shortly after that, we see Porsha having a breakdown. And it just breaks my heart because you can tell that Porsha is going through a lot. And I think that we didn't get to see enough of what Porsha is going through because I think that she just wasn't able to film a lot of things, allegedly. I think that's what a lot of it was. And I hate that we weren't able to see a lot more of what Porsha had going on personally. But she was clearly going through something. And you could tell in some moments that she's just overwhelmed and she's just over all of this. But we're glad to have her back, though. Also, too, it's good to see that her and Shamia are still working towards having a good relationship. And I feel like they'll get back in a good place. I really, truly do. So hopefully at the reunion, we will see them get back in a better place. That's my hope for them. So after that, we see all the ladies head out to the lobby to have a conversation. Angela wants to discuss, Kelly's event and the dude Marcus showing up. So she brings that situation up. So she brings that up or whatever. And it seems like at first she's kind of like blaming Kelly because she was like, Kelly, I have to be honest with you. I still am kind of wondering like why he was at your event, like why he was there. And Kelly's like, and you hear Porsha like, wait, you blaming Kelly? Like it just seemed odd for you to blame Kelly. Like I feel like her event seemed like it was more so open to the public. And he's a restaurant owner. She was doing like a cooking thing at Williams-Sonoma, so that makes sense. Maybe they invited him because I think he said he has a restaurant. So I think it made sense. But then it seemed like she was like also like, well, Britt, me and you weren't cool. So I felt like maybe you did. Now, what was funny, Britt was like, I'm a married woman. So, I honor marriage. And then Kelly just over there dying laughing. Kelly, now you was picking. You should have left that lady alone. Now, y'all ain't getting to it. But then I saw you nudge Shamia a little bit, child. That was good to me. But I don't think either one of them did it. So we see Drew go and get the guy, and I'm with Porsha. Why would you invite this guy to your event? This is a monumental moment for you. This is something of importance to you. Why sabotage your event possibly for this mess? This is your event. This is for charity. And Charles was ready to fight and kick the man out, baby. I see why they call him the enforcer, because Charles was ready to get it started. Charles was not having it. He said, nah, man, you can leave, bro. He said, hey, big dog, you can hit the door. He was not playing. And Angela's like, no, listen to me. No, he's not staying. It was just like, Angela, is it that deep? And, essentially what he is alleging is that Phaedra is the one that put him up to it, or Phaedra's the one that kind of orchestrated him coming to do that at her event. Now, he said that he calls Phaedra Phaedra is called the godfather of Atlanta. And I don't think, to my knowledge, I just don't see Phaedra moving like that. I'm going to be 100% real with you. Do I feel like Phaedra, have we seen Phaedra do some low down dirty stuff? 100%, absolutely. But it just seems weird for this. But like I said, but the first situation seemed weird that Phaedra did. So it's one of those, like, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because I really don't know how to feel. And, the man is like, oh, your cousin Junebug. We all got a cousin Junebug. Who don't got a cousin Junebug? Baby, in the comments, if you got a cousin Junebug, put it in the comments if you got a cousin Junebug. I think we all got a Junebug in our life. But I just don't feel, I don't know. It just seemed so weird. And Angela, you're asking her, well, why would you do it, Phaedra? Is it because of the ring? Is it because you want the ring? And I'm like, did her and Charles date at some point? It just seemed so weird. It just seemed odd. And I feel like all of the ladies were even kind of like, it does not make sense for Phaedra to do this. Like, if she did it, okay, yes, cool, she did it. But it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would she just randomly do that to you because y'all had a good relationship? It seems like y'all were cool. So it doesn't make sense, y'all. It just really, really doesn't. And the only thing I would say is, Phaedra, you bringing up the foreclosure does kind of be like, it has me like, what's going on here? Because that just seemed like it came out of nowhere. Like, why were you just sitting on this information? Like, were you just looking up stuff to just come at her just randomly out the blue? That just seemed weird. So then, Angela is saying that she got the information, or Phaedra provided her the details, because Phaedra called and was like, hey girl, this is the dude name. This is what he worked. This is his restaurant. Boop de boop de boop, allegedly. That's what Angela is saying that she got from Phaedra. Again, that could have been Phaedra just like, hey girl, I'm trying to help you because that was messed up that happened. It just was weird. Now, Angela, what I didn't like was you bringing up her kids and like, do you allow them to go to their father's house? That was unnecessary, and it had nothing to do with what you were talking about. And I'm glad Kelly was like, hey, we ain't doing that. We not bringing up the whole kid thing. I think that was unnecessary, Angela. And I do think you owe her an apology for that. Yes, let's say she did, right? She did orchestrate this dude to come and just bring that up. okay, you know, but that you still didn't have to bring up her kids. That just was unnecessary. I just don't get why she would do that. If y'all feel like she did, put it in the chat. I don't know if she did or she didn't. I just don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. I can see her doing it, but then I'm also like, but why? Like it doesn't make sense. And the one thing I didn't like about the closing of this episode is like them adding in like their closing clips during all of these arguments, because it just was so distracting. I'm like, wait, what does this say? But I'm still trying to listen to the fights and pay attention to all of that. It was too much going on. So I'm gonna talk about like their closing pieces like at the very end. But while they are arguing, right, Angela and Phaedra are going back and forth. Shamea brings up Britt bringing up her daughter in a situation, and then Britt's like back in that voice, well, no, I didn't bring up your daughter. I bring up you, you know, faking a situation about, you know, it just was so, it wasn't funny. It was just like, oh my God, here we go. Here we go again. And then Porsha was like, well, girl, what you say? And she was like, girl, I wanted to beat her up. And I was like, ooh, Shamea, I'm shocked you didn't. Or had one of your sisters to do it, girl. You should have had somebody to tag team that girl in the room. I don't support that. I'm not supporting or promoting violence. I'm just saying, girl, do what you got to do. Now, at the very end, I'm just going to skip to the very end. It was funny, though, like seeing like everybody leave. And then it was like a moment we see like Angela and Phaedra having a moment. And she was like, Angela's like, thank you, Phaedra for something. And then Phaedra's like, but then Phaedra is unfazed. That was good to me. That was really funny. But we see Cynthia apologizing to Porsha for telling Shamea about, you know, the conversation that her, Britt, and Porsha had. And I get where Cynthia's coming from. Like, hey, all of us are cool, girl. I would have done the same thing if she was on the other foot. I get where Cynthia's coming from. I don't think Cynthia was trying to be messy. And I'm glad that Porsha was just like, girl, next time just don't do it. But I'm glad that they were able to just move past it, because I don't think that she did that to be messy. I think, golly, I'm sweating. I don't think she did that to be messy. I think that she just did that to, hey, let's clear this air, because y'all were too good of friends. Y'all was in a good place. So let's see how we can work past this. So I think that that's what that was about. Y'all see me blotting this good skin? That's how you blot, baby. You don't wipe, you blot. You got to blot to get the stuff off. And no, I'm not wearing no makeup. This is my God-given skin. All right. So let's talk about the closing clips, right? Essentially what everybody has going on. We're just going to hit them. We're going to hit them and get on up out of here. So we see Kelly. Kelly is officially divorced from what it says here, and she is looking to open up her restaurant during the summer of 2025. So we should be, I actually think she has opened her restaurant. Now that I think about it, in real time, I think she's opened it. I'm not sure though. We see Britt has reopened her agency, and we know that she is no longer on the show. So yay us. We won, y'all. We did it, Joe. We did it, baby. Drew dropped her album, and Ralph is still living in the basement. So Drew still got the same old storyline going on. Shamea hopes to welcome a son soon, and I really, really, really hope that they do. And I hope that they are able to welcome a son. We see Phaedra is booked and busy. Whatever that means. Okay. Angela sold 3 out of the 5 houses, but she lost 2, and she is opening a fan line. She is going to open a line of fans because, hell, I could use one right now. I could use one, Angela. So, girl, go ahead and send me one, baby. I'll promote your fan. And then we get a 5 months later, and we see that Porsha is actually able to film in her marital home. That house is bad, baby. But what else we expect from Miss P? She always got it going on. But it looks like Porsha is handling her divorce differently. So she's in a different headspace. She's able to work through this. And I say, girl, get it. Get it all. Once you got it, get some more. And it looks like Simon was detained allegedly by ICE during their divorce. And yeah, so that is that. And y'all, that is the end of the season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. How do y'all feel about the season? Like, how do y'all think it was a good season? Do you think that they could have done better? I hate that we didn't get Kenya towards the end at all, but I really have hopes for next season. I feel like our girl's gonna be back next season. Something in my spirit is telling me our girl neneleakes will be gracing us back with a peach. So I hope that is true. I hope that happens. Fingers crossed. But with that being said, y'all, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell button so when I do drop content, you do get all of those alerts when I drop something new. But until next time, I will see y'all later. Have a good day, everybody.